skin, it could be sleep, it could be any verb, it doesn't really matter. And then can we think of an adjective for S? Well, you said sleeping, for example. And now could you think of a girl's name that starts with an S? Sandy, Sarah. And finally, a city or a country that starts with S, the land of chocolate. Switzerland. Now, Princess, get the students to put all these words in any order they want and to make a silly sentence. And this is what the Princess came up with. Susan sings songs when she picks shiny strawberries in Sweden. Oh, isn't that cool, thought the Princess. I can teach grammar in a creative way. I can teach them about verbs and about adjectives and about all sorts of things. Oh, yeah, this makes sense to me. Now off the Princess went. By this time it was the 6th day and the Princess was starting to get tummy ache. She knew.
That one called the headmistress with me out to play. 24 hours and counting.
Now, the Princess knew that she needed to find some help and urgently. And she thought about who she could phone. And she thought, I need somebody who knows a lot about books. I need somebody who's a teacher trainer. I need somebody who has a lot of experience. I know. I need Ismail Khalafana. That's who I need. And so she called him and said, Ismail, please help me. I need the kids to write these creative poems. What can I do? And Ismail said to them, that's easy, Princess. All you need to do is give them as much exposure to creativity as you possibly can. Now, this means that you shouldn't be telling them what creativity is. You should be like a mirror. You should be showing them what it means to be creative. And so what you need is to get examples, different examples of creative poems that have been written by different people with different visions of what creativity is. And then, can I get the children going? No, said Ismail. What you need to do is to give them choice. Don't dictate, challenge their creativity. So what you need to do is show them different types of poems and then say, you choose how you want to get creative. I mean, they do this every day when they eat out, Princess. They choose what they want to eat. So why don't you let them choose what their brain wants to eat? I think I can do that. Oh, I can't wait to start, thought the Princess. And so that night she hardly slept a wink. And the gorgeous Princess Farida had a few eye bags the next morning. But she wasn't worried because she was anxious to go to school and to see the children. Before you go, the phone rang and it was Ismail saying, be careful. What you need to do, as you're all excited and fired up to get the children going, is to teach the children to have creative confidence and to be efficient. Because if they don't believe that they can, this will all just be a good reason for them to give up. What you need to do is to teach them creativity in baby steps. So if you want them to make the poem, they have to make the poem in bits. And they don't have to make it by themselves. You can help them, or they can help each other. Don't forget that. I have to go because the boss is calling out. And he hung up. The teacher dashed into the classroom. She was anxious to share this creativity with others. She wanted to get the children to make and say and recite their poems and get everybody excited, especially the Wicked Witch, and God knows the parents too, because if they have it, everybody's happy. And so she got the children outside and she said, class, today we're going to read some poems. Now what I want you to do is to listen and to choose your favorite one. And the children listened. And some smiled and some frowned and some just shook their heads. finally, they chose the favourite one. And then the princess said, well, let's start writing a poem together. What shall we write? And one boy said, Teacher Farida, could you please write a simple like the one we just read? Oh, my little special one, of course we can. And so the class started writing. And do you want to see what they wrote? Well, it wasn't just a poem. It was a poem on something that starts with a C. Can anybody think with me? It was a poem about... Oh my God, teachers always know the right answer. That's it, a poem on creativity. And this is what they wrote. Creativity, empowering, exciting, questioning, brainstorming and creating, using our imaginations to... Projects, thank you please. And suddenly the wicked witch disappeared away. And the princess knew that she had won another day. And all was well. Now that was the day that the princess discovered something that the very creative author Maya Angelou had known for a long, long time. The thing about creativity is that you can't use it up. The more you use it, the more you have. And on this note, I'd like to say, glory, glory, this is the end of my story. To do something which I think is really, really important. I spoke to you just now as a teacher and as a teacher trainer. I would now like to use the fact that I've been blessed with so many people in the room who listen with their heads and hearts. And I'd like to give you a message as a mother. For those of you who don't know me, I have two princesses, and yes, I will take any inscription from possible princes out there. Right? If you'd like to enroll outside, once this is over, we can speak. But I'd like to give you a message as a mother who is speaking on behalf of all the other mothers. Can you give me a wave if you are a teacher? It is to you that I speak today. Now you see, the thing about us mothers and fathers is that we are really busy people. Sometimes we want to come and visit you at school, but we don't really have the time. And there really is no good reason as to why we don't have the time, except that bosses won't let us leave earlier, and they remember things that we have to do at the last moment. And other brothers and sisters are sick, and we have to take care of them. And then we have to cook for the husband, and because we have to cook, we have to go shopping first, and the shops have this crazy idea that they should close early. So you can see why sometimes we don't come and visit you. And sometimes we only come and visit you when you actually tell us to come, so you can tell us about our children's marks. It's not that we didn't want to come earlier, but life got in the way. So that's why we don't come when we know we should come and when we know you want us to come. It's not an excuse, it's just life. Now what I would like to tell you today from these busy people is thank you. And you might be thinking, God, Vanessa's gone bonkers. What is she thanking me for? The first thing I'd like to thank you for is thank you for choosing to be a teacher. You could have chosen a lot of other jobs. You're intelligent enough. You could have chosen jobs which pay a hell of a lot more money. But still, you chose to be a teacher. And for that, I say thank you. I would also like to say thank you for coming to school every day. Because I've seen you on the good days, but I've also seen you looking very, very sick. And guess what? You still came to school to look after my princesses. And for that I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for never giving up. Now you see, sometimes you send homework. And I go home full of all good intentions to help my little princess do the homework, and she doesn't get it once. And I explain it, and she doesn't get it twice. And by the third time I must admit that I say, oh, just pack that away, the teacher will explain tomorrow. Yeah, I give up. But I want to say thank you for not giving up. Because if you did, I don't know what would happen to my daughter. And finally, I want to say thank you for believing. We all know how difficult it is to be a teacher nowadays. How many things make life more difficult in the classroom and out of the classroom. But I want to thank you for believing that together we can make magic in our children's minds. Because they are our future. And Lord knows what would happen if you didn't go there each and every day. And before I start crying, I want to say, shukran.
Gloria.